We have read the interview of Jennifer Sigler and the editor's note. In the interview, the interviewer said that the next great architecture book may have to solve the problem of the failure to convey a real sense of the space as experienced by a visitor. But how could a book try to convey the real sense? Could a book or other media really convey that? We conclude two keywords which Jennifer used to achieve the goal. The first one is about or of. At first, the publisher resolutely wanted to do one book on Rim Koolhaas of a series. However, the office was just beginning with big competitions with energy and frantic invention. So those editors and publishers just decided to do something different, something of OMA rather than about OMA. It means that the book is not only a description of the office, but is ongoing accompany the office. Documenting, recording, interviewing people, collecting images, articles, and quotes are just happening in the process of the office grow up. So here is the book. It's more like a collection of newspaper rather than a book. The about or of is important because it's only about something. It's like a description in another one's view. But if it is of something, like this book, it becomes part of the office so that readers could communicate with the office itself more directly. When Jennifer referred to the Hunch, the magazine of Berlage, she said that she wanted to make something that was in the spirit of them, but not in the spirit of a newsletter. This is also in relationship with about or of. The second keyword is immediacy. In the case of Queen's Store Museum, they put some words on the photos so that readers feel like they are guided or experiencing the sense. Jennifer also referred to the concept of sound and ghost in books. We will make them detailed in the case study. Also, in the part of the magazine of Berlage, she said that the issues weren't themed. Each was meant to slice through a moment in time. Therefore, readers could receive information in an immediate way and distill them from the evidence. The third thing about immediacy is the spoken word. Print and spoken word will enrich each other. When we read those spoken words on pages, we feel like that we are the part of the conversation and the lecture. Another important point of immediacy is that architecture had to work. In the case of Hatch House in the issue of Berlage, Jennifer said that they wanted to publish this building, but not as architecture and not as the subject. She said the architecture had to work. This means that when we take photo of architecture, there should be stories in it. In this case, the photographer staged 2 stories about 12 businessmen and 6 boys in the building and made these 2 series of images. And it created another layer of interpretation. Then the case study.
So we have looked at case studies on Jennifer Sigler's work, and we found that Consal is a critical project in a way that it relates to the idea of communicating between the author and audience. So as an editor of SMLXL, Jennifer puts effort on conveying the real sense of space with this project. In the interview, Jennifer talks about how to reinterpret the experience of architecture onto pages. She uses this project as an example of emerging new dimension of medium into print. In the intro to the Harvard Design magazine, miscommunication is presented not as a problem, but it serves as a potential and enable more nuanced reality to coexist. That's why walls to be walls, but also door, and for pictures to be pictures or pictures. And all those nuances have incorporated in the format of pages is something that has the relationship between the complexity of architecture and the flatness of the page. This suggests that the page of book needs to be more complex in order to incorporate how diverse the experience of the building is. So this is the digital copy of project from SMLXL, and she explained the architecture by organizing sequence of photographs in a form of instruction of literal walkthrough tour and adds a script onto each image as if someone is telling a story. So the big text is inserted in script is on the bottom of layout, and small text is on that one that giving you direction where to go. For example, it says approach the building from the boulevard, so the whole sequence of images start from the street, enters building, and going around the building as instructed on the bottom of pages. So we as an individual all have different opinions about her approach with this project, but what she was trying to convey was that she wanted readers to really experience the architecture as if you are in the building rather than just looking at architecture images. It's more than just creating noise. It becomes like a new form of presentation that enables new understanding of architecture. It's one of the moments that the book pushes the limit of medium because it starts to work with time and space and characters and voices all at once. She was trying to translate physical experience into print. It's about making the book more of a live, tangible experience because ultimately architecture is not only accessed as a first-hand experience. However, complexity of the architecture cannot fully be experienced through medium of book. She certainly pushes the limit of medium of book, but it is still hard to convey the complexity of the building. So as we went through the Kunsar project in the book in XML XL, it provides the experience of the architecture with well laid out sequence of images. The text was also quite effective in a way that as if someone was telling a story while looking at images of the building. It certainly adds noise onto pages, but at the same time it has some limitations as well. As Jennifer mentions in the Harvard Design magazine, messages are constantly being objectified and read as a data, which may become subjective matter. Same thing goes for the Jennifer project on Kunsal on XML XL. The intention of the editors will depend on the reader's subjective issue. Readers would all have different opinions of what the author is trying to convey. In order to incorporate the complexity of architecture, the format of the page needs to be expanded. However, expanding the format of book is limited as it has to deal with the flatness of the pages. Therefore, it is not easy to convey the real sense of space in a book, but the book itself is a new dimension of interpreting architecture.
In the editor's note, When Walls Are Doors, Jennifer raised an important question of book misunderstanding. Jennifer first introduced a book which is about scramble codes and disintegrating messages, about snags along the route from the sender to receiver. In this case, the regular pictures is somehow different from the italic pictures, but the pronunciations are same. Therefore, when we see pictures, the listener can know which one we are seeing, and here will be the misunderstanding. However, as what Jennifer said, to allow for a wall to be a wall, but also a door, and for pictures to be pictures or pictures. Although accurate understanding is important, the diversity interpretation is a chance, a new life of the message. And the kind of misunderstanding also differentiates among all the media. For example, we can distinguish regular and italic pictures in pages but can't do so in saying words. Therefore, each kind of media is irreplaceable and the misunderstanding is a potential for these medias, including books, to find their own new dimension and perspective of interpretation and transmission.